dear friend God calls his friends. And so I said, after saying that, he said, and she calls his friends. Yes. That may kind of upset some of us. But what we're going through right now is the day of the Lord. The day of the Lord is a time that is great awakening here on this planet. And when you start reading about the dark day of the Lord, it's a day of the Lord of great darkness, of agony and pain. And it's like, how can that be? What's happening is we've been in the night, we've been in darkness, we've been in a place where we totally don't understand the truth of this almighty energy we call God. We've been seeing it as a man under the sky for so long, and we want to keep it that way. I'm not trying to keep that away from anybody. But this energy that we came forth from is totally different than what we imagined as small kids from ages past. And it has all aspects of the male and female. The energy itself is everything, and it's created everything. So this is the day of the Lord that we're awakening. And the light starts showing in the darkness. It changes everything. It's like growing up and finding out what's going on in the world. Or here in the past few years, it's like somebody drew back a curtain and you see behind everything that's out there in the world that we never thought was out there. It's out there. We see things that we didn't want to see. I know I've been seeing things I want to see. But this is what's happening. But during this time of great transition all over this planet, we're coming into that place of knowing, of trusting, of coming from our heart, of discovering we are all one family. We all came from one source. And this is a part of waking up from our dark days, our dark nights, coming into the light of a higher vibration. It's actually called the resurrection. The resurrection of life. Didn't mean to get into that, but you triggered it for me, so thank you so much. But I want to welcome you to everyone here. And whatever I say, don't be convinced that that's not the way you see it. I love you, no matter what you believe, please send that love back to me. Because we are all one here on this planet. And we're all in this together, whatever this is right now. We're all here for each other. So thank you so much for tuning in on Zoom and for each and every one that chose to be here today. It's a beautiful day. It's fall now, October, things are cooling down. So I hope in the middle levels things begin to cool off also. But as we move into this morning, I'd like to share with you a daily word from actually 2009. It just got out of the book this morning. I picked it up and glanced at it and saw the word for the day as discovery on this. And I think we are. We're discovering new ways of being, new ways of thinking, new ways of acting, and new ways of going inside and getting in touch with our dear and free God. So let's just close our eyes if you don't mind. If you'd like to, if not, that's fine too. But just let go of all the hustle bustle of the day, the hustle bustle of this week. There's nothing to do, no place to go, but to just be right here and right now in this moment. Take that time for yourself. That quiet time to be right here. I'd like to share the daily word with you. And in doing so, I'm going to use the word I. Not we, but I. May these words be your words. If you feel it's coming from your heart, just be still and listen. The best is yet to come. Knowing that the best is yet to be, I move past what has been before. I focus on my blessings, and I allow myself to think and act from the understanding of all that I can be. My soul's choice is to rise to new heights of discovery, new heights of empowerment and adventure. And I do this one prayer, one thought, one decision at a time. For God is revealing what my direction is to be, and I allow it. There is no need for me to force my life to move in one direction or another, nor do I want to. What I discovered is that God has unexpected blessings in store for me. Opening my mind and all my physical senses to my inner spiritual realm, I now heal from the past. And I am ready to take on this new day. There is no limit to what I can do and what I can be, all through God who is within me. In Jeremiah 33:6 we read, I'm going to bring in recovery and healing. I will heal them. I will reveal to them abundance of prosperity and security. I want to add to that. And I will be their God, and they will be my people. Our loving Creator, I give thanks for this brand new day. This day of awakening with the sun shining and the coolness of morning. A time when the past can be let go of and left in the past. And the slate can be made clean in our heart and our mind. That we could turn loose of the old and step into the new. For we are creators right here and right now. You are showing us that all that came about up to this point has been created in our own hearts and our own minds. The world is as it is because of human actions and human decisions. You gave us this world. You blessed us and blessed all there is. And you called it good. You said it was all good. May we see with your eyes. May we come into that place of knowing that all is for the good. All is for the good. Give us wisdom and understanding at this time, in this place. For not one of us are here by chance, but we were led by the Master's hand right this moment. Now may we make those choices to step forward in a manner that would please you and would also give us peace of mind and joy in our heart. May we truly call forth the best, knowing that the best is yet to be. I surrender all things unto you, your God, and I ask thy divine guidance in all that I say and do. May my ego itself be set aside, that I may speak from the heart of God. And for this, I do give thanks. In through the name and power of the living Christ. Amen. I've been reading in Joel, and that's a real small book, just a few chapters. So we'd like to turn to that sometime this week and go through Joel and see what you feel about that. You're going to see about the day of darkness and the things that will come. Then it goes on to say that my people will hear my voice and turn to me. It goes on talking about how everything will be restored and done to us. And one of the things is the day of the locust, that the locust is eaten, all things will be restored back to us. And so this week when that popped up for me, I started thinking about that. The year of the locust. What is the year of the locust? And what came up for me is the years of the locust are those times that those times or those years that you just wish you could kind of erase. And some of us have those times. What is the hardest thing you've ever gone through in your life? Or some of the hurtful things that's happened to you? The locus is those negative things that have happened, those hurtful things. So I begin to think of some of the years that I think, well, that's the worst year I ever went through. I could name that year. But then when I looked at it, it's like, no, because of that fear, I'm standing right here where I am right today. And if you do that same thing and you go back and start seeing what is it that really pulls your heart out, what situation really seemed to pick you to your knees, what pain and sorrow happened that you wish you'd never happened. It left an impression on you. And it's still leaving an impression on you more than likely. But as I began to look at some of these things, I began to look at it and think, you know, I've had people that have come to me and we've talked about different situations in life. And in these situations, it may be the same situation I've had or you've had. But for them, it may have happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It didn't happen when they were a child. But somehow, when you meet them, they tell you that story. And they'll tell the person beside them that story. And everybody they meet, they tell that story to. How bad it was when this happened. How bad it was, how horrible it was. A lot of people may get stuck in with their husband or wife or somebody else because it was just never to move on. For me, my hard thing was losing a child, not only one, but I lost two. I had 3 children, and then I felt like I lost the third one that got into drugs and alcohol. I can repeat that story over and over and over again and watch the hurt that come on. But after a while, I watched and I began to notice that that was my story. And I can begin to learn from my story rather than repeat my story and keep hurting myself with what had happened. For those that I've gone through divorce with too, for a lot of you. But going through these things, you think a lot is taken from us, no matter how hard it is. But when you stop for a moment and say, what have I learned through this? What did I gain through this? That's when the restoration starts taking place, folks. The restoring of what the locust destroyed in your life. You don't get back that same child or that same relationship, but it's restored back to you in a different way. If you hadn't left a certain person, you wouldn't be with the person you are right. You are now. Whether it's girlfriend or boyfriend or now. And we learn through those things. And it adds to the growth of our own soul. That we know how better to handle things. I guess what I was looking at this week when that started coming up is we've all had our personal stuff that we've gone through to help make us stronger, not to tear us down. Nothing is meant to destroy us. I'm thinking of a young man right now, of Joseph, in the coat of many colors. His own brothers betrayed him. They threw him in a pit, and they were going to kill him. They were jealous of him. They thought they didn't like him more than him. And they were ready to murder this young man because of that. How hurtful that has to be. How hurtful that has to be. Then, instead of killing him, they decided to sell him into slavery. Let him go into another land. So he was sold. And he began to look after a gentleman's the head of his house. And then the wife, of all things, accuses him of trying to sexually attack her. He's thrown in prison. What could he be learning in all this? What in the world? The bitterness you would think he would carry with him about his brother. And then here this woman trying to seduce him and blaming him. What good is in all this stuff? It's not only his life that's being affected, but it's his whole family that's being affected by what they've done. And it's also the woman that was accusing him of stuff. It's affecting her life. When I glance over at her, I think she must have thought she was gorgeous and could have anything she wanted, any man she wanted. Her husband had money. She could have things that she wanted. But here Joseph, he had morals. And he wasn't going to bow down to what she desired just to please her desires. It's showing him that he's strong, he can stand up for what's right. Then he's in prison. And what's he doing? He begins to help in prison, becomes one of the head people in prison. Because he knows how to talk to people. He knows how to be a friend to people. He knows how to take people that have more pain than he's had. Or he can relate with his pain. And he can bring them up. As he's bringing them up, it brings them up to a place of feeling better about life, no matter what the circumstances look like. And so one day he was released from prison because of interpreting a dream. Or a few people that were in prison, when they got out, somebody finally remembered him. You know? And the Pharaoh in the land where he was bothered by a dream. So with this, what was happening, when they told him, the Pharaoh wanted him to come and tell him about interpret his dream, and he did. Before you know it, they're close friends. And his dream was about a family in the land. The days of good times were over. The rain stopped. Everything started drying up. But Joseph had the wisdom to say, God showing me what to do. To store food, to do this, that, and the other. So he was the right hand of Pharaoh. And people from all over were coming to be fed. Coming to be fed. As I look out and see you, and I know that others are out here, I'm wondering, where am I going with this story? And I'm getting a little nudge inside. You've gone through all you've gone through. Because you're sitting in the right hand of the Father. You're sitting in a place in consciousness that you've been working on that inner work. That you can see everything that you've gone through is for good. It's brought you to 2020. A time that seems so difficult. A time when the vision is right. A time of bitterness and anger. But a time of renewal. A time of growth. A time of change. And if your heart is open and you're growing and understanding, and in this dark day of the Lord, that you can feel that light and illumination that has always been inside of you. When you're talking to someone, the words will come from you to that friend, to that stranger, to that person on the street. And as you begin to say something to lift them up, guess what? It lifts you up also. This is the greatest day that we've been in our lifetime, I believe. It's a time when things are going to be restored. We're going to begin to see the blessings of God everywhere we look, if we choose to. If we choose to. Third time for some reason. If we make that choice to do so. No one is controlling you in the office. No one. You're not in slavery. You're not in prison. You're not in chains. And if you are, this is truly the day of the Lord. For the day of the Lord, Jesus opened the book and said that this is the day of the Lord. I've come to open the prison doors, to let the prisoners go free, to break the chains. He was saying what he was here on this planet for, and what he was doing, what he was offering to us. But he was not talking about the prison doors downtown in the jail. He was talking about the prison doors that we've got closed in our hearts and our minds, that we keep ourselves chained to the past and chained to what we believe to be true. But he came to bring light and understanding and wisdom to us, that we can know what's going on inside of us, so we can break those chains that bind us. We're like that little elephant. You know how they train an elephant? I'm sure all of you do. They take a baby elephant and put a chain or a rope around his little leg, and they tie it to a stake or a tree. Let's say a tree, because a tree seems so big. And the elephant goes so far, but when he feels that pull on it, he won't go any farther. When he's grown up and all of his power is free, you can still take the chain, put it around his ankle, stake him out. When that pull, that tug comes, he won't go any farther. He can pull down a tree. We've programmed ourselves the same way. Now we have to look and see. We're not little kids anymore. A big person's not going to walk in the room and take advantage of us. Or the big boys at school are not going to beat us up. We're strong. We're strong. We can stand up for ourselves. Life has changed. But that little person inside needs to be set free. The fears that we held and hold from our times when we were young are still there for a lot of people. Then our stories of what happened as a teenager or as a young adult so often keep us chained and bound. This is the day of the Lord when great darkness seems to come to surface, and that's what's happening. The light of the Christ is within us, and it's time to grow up, time to come out of the cocoon that we've kept ourselves in for so long. Because all the things that we walk through has caused us to come to a place of transformation. Transformation. Being transformed from the inside out. And it's here for all of us. It's just how are we looking at it? We have the time now to every thought that we think, why am I thinking and seeing it this way? Why am I seeing it in a negative way? Why am I seeing it with bitterness in my heart? I can't be set free as long as I have these chains that are binding me. It's up to me to allow Christ to just brush those things off of the past and see it in a different way. All things are working for the good. All things are working for the good. You build strength, you build power. As you step through difficult situations, and you don't have to feel like it's all on your own shoulders, because you can begin to recognize you're not alone. There's a power within you that's greater than anything out before you. What does the scripture say? Greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. Don't worry about tomorrow, He said. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. Faith in God can move mighty mountains. The thing I keep hearing over and over and over, and I have for years, is fear coming. Fear. Don't be afraid of what's going to happen in November. Don't be afraid of what's going to happen in December, or January, February, March. 2021, 2022. Do not fear. Do not fear. Don't worry about the actions of others, but you be the example. You be the example for the highest and best of yourself, who you are. Because we're leaving behind an old age that's dying. And I doubt that any of us know what this new age is going to look like. This new time that we're entering in. But I want to be a part of being one with my brothers and sisters. I want to be a part of having compassion and love. I want to be a part of oneness of life, not just with humankind, but with the air I breathe, with the trees and the mountains and the water. Knowing that it's all a part of me and it's all a part of you. What I'm sensing within me right now is respect. I want to respect you and respect this earth and respect the animals and everything here. That which Jesus gave to us and said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, is a great universal law. And I think it goes beyond just each other. It's the animals, the trees, the air, the water. It's a gift from God. All that we have is a gift from God. Everything is a gift. I want to show God in humanity and life itself that I am so grateful for this thing called life. I'm so grateful for the gifts of life. And I want to take care of everything that has been given to me. I've been a person, if you sent me a card 10 years ago, I probably still have it stacked away somewhere. I'm trying to use it lately. But I'm grateful for what people do for me and what they give to me. I don't know how to express that all the time. But I hold on to things, especially if you made it or you sent it to me or gave it to me. But I want to do that with all that is, showing reverence to it. And that means taking care of it. For me, that's what it means. So in gratitude, and in this gratitude, we will see the more that we are grateful, the more we have to be grateful for. I think Scott kind of awakened that in me years ago, when he made gratitude journals. And you can find out there's something to be grateful for every single day of your life. And there's always new things to be grateful for. And when we look at things we don't have enough, can be grateful for what we do have. And in the grateful for what we do have, I know I experience more comes my way. We really haven't been taught the laws of the universe Or if we haven't taken it to heart. Because it really works. It really does work. Give and you shall receive. Seek and you'll find. The law, the cause of that, that's what that's about. What am I doing out in the world is going to come back to me. That's not God punishing me. When something happens, it's like I do something and I go out there and I speed and I get caught. I can't get mad at the police officer for getting for going 98. But it's my fault for running away. But there's laws of the universe. But we're coming to a place that we're rising even in higher laws, in higher dimensions of consciousness. And this is a part of a resurrection that we've been knowing of and looking to. But Jesus, I'm just going with the interview I'm feeling here, when he gave up his ego self on the cross, and they took that body and they placed it in a tomb. This was a part of the great darkness. A time when you're in a place of stillness and you don't know what's next. I'm not saying that Jesus, the Christ, did not know what's next. But this is where you're standing, this is where I'm standing. We've been holding on to the ego self, holding on so tight, holding on to the past, holding on to our desires, holding on. I'm just going with the symbols that I'm seeing, guys. But if I want to be set free, and I want more light in this darkness, this dark place I'm in, if it's you or it's me, I have to let it go. It's like standing before a fireplace, and there's only a little spark there. And I want to see more in the room. I want it to be light, and I want the warmth. I have to take that piece of wood. And in that piece of wood, do you know what that piece of wood represents in my hands right now? As I'm feeling this in my imagination. Every minute it represents a seed of life. It came out to just be a little plant, and then it grew into a big tree. That was his whole lifespan. And it's cut down, and it's cut into small pieces. It represents that whole tree, his whole lifetime. And you place it into the fire. And when you place that into the fire, the whole room lights up, and there's warmth, and there's sight. When we place our past into the fire of spirit and let it all go, it's consumed into ashes. And in the Old Testament, it says that we will have beauty for ashes, faith for fear. Right now, what that's saying to me is we're standing in a time that we can take all the past that we let go of and it can turn into something beautiful. Out of the ashes of the old, the phoenix rises, new life comes, new awareness comes. And the fear that we've been holding on to, once we release that fear, we have beauty in our life. It's time to begin to be work, for me to work on me and you to work on you. Knowing that these promises are real and true. Standing on the promises of God. Standing on the truth. That you are a child of God. That you are a being of light and love. that you are more than flesh and blood, for you are a spark of the living God, unfolding in your fullness and in your power and love. The day of the locust, all the negative things, as we let it go, we will see all things being restored back to us, back into the Creator Himself. I love each and every one of you. I hope this has been a blessing in some way. Peace and blessings to each of you. And I speak in this manner, I think it's here. Because I see the God in you. I see the God in the Holy Spirit. You could not be a being. You could not be here and have life. Because the life that you have is the life of God. And one day, we'll get on. We'll get it. Because nothing we have is ours. Everything we have is a little smoke. So give thanks for what you've been given. And I thank God for each of you. And I truly hope for Christ in each of you. As Jesus said, you are the light. Right here, right now. Let your light shine. Be an example. That others will look at you and think, that's the kind of person I like to be. No.